All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. We are watching me trade in my second 50K combine today. I'm gonna take a little breather. We did pass our first combine yesterday, our first evaluation. So we do have an express account through TopStep. Very, very exciting. Very exciting. But I'm going to take a couple days to kind of let that sink in and, um, calm my nerves and whatnot. So for the next 3 days here, for the rest of this week, we're going to trade in the second 50K account. Hopefully, we can get that one done or close to finished as well, because I'd like to have a backup account, right? Or some other account that I can switch into if I'm getting losses and whatever. So instead of continuing to trade in the same account, if I already took two losses, then I can just switch into a different account, uh, and trade in there to mitigate losses, day by day, right? So um, you are watching me trade in my second 50K account here, combine valuation, whatever you want to call it. And next week, we will begin trading in the Express account, in the funded account. That feels really nice to say. Yeah, we are a funded trader. All right, we have what do we got here? A minute left until New York session is open. We'll hop over to the 15-minute chart just so you can see really nice gap here to the upside, and that's probably due to Tesla overnight and this morning continuing to rise, not on their uh, earnings, because their earnings were not good at all, but during the earnings call yesterday, Elon had stated that he is taking a back seat in Doge and going to be more involved and back, in the front seat with Tesla, and the investors loved hearing that. And so the stock is up. Last time I checked, it was like 7-8% this morning. So on that, I'm sure the Nasdaq has moved with a pretty decent amount of volume coming into Tesla, and so we have a nice little gap here this morning, and a nice, really nice slow continuation to the upside all night, right, in the European session here, as well as the Asian session. A little dip first down to where we opened, basically, and then a nice continuation, and we're still making new highs so far. So we have our levels set based on yesterday's profile, volume profile. We are much higher than that, so we may not be using those levels today yet again, but we'll see how it goes. So here we go. New York session is now open, and let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. We can already see some resistance here, had some liquidity here. We might pop up to retest the highs here or not. We'll see. We definitely have some liquidity down here as well. You can see where price pushed down pretty strong here, pretty strong push to the downside here with almost an immediate stop and retrace in price once we got down to this level here. And a nice build back up. So let's see. We've got some large wicks forming here. Give it a couple minutes to play out here and let this volatility settle. With this second 50K count, my goal is to be a little bit more aggressive. I don't even know if I should call it being aggressive, but just take the opportunities a little bit quicker when they um, offer themselves. The strategy is sound. I mean, I pointed 5 of them out yesterday, and I called them out as they were happening on the live session, and I just didn't jump into the market again because of fear, because I was so close there to passing that evaluation. I was afraid. I was more afraid to get into the market than I was, to uh, pass. I guess, right? There we go. Nice return here. So let's see if this continues. Maybe not. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I ended up missing out on 5 different opportunities, which in recent markets, haven't been able to have that kind of structure. So my goal is to really try to take advantage as much as possible with the opportunities that present themselves in the market in this 50K account here, and hopefully we can get this one done much quicker, uh, so that we can have like I said, a backup account, um, and then we'll start trading. And obviously, our next goal is our first payout. So my the way Top Step works, and if you guys don't know, I'll just explain real quick how Top Step works with your Express funded account, which is what I have. So you have to have 5 green days, and a green day is $200 or more in order to take your first payout. It doesn't have to be consecutive. You just have to have 5 green days of $200 or more, and then you can request your first payout. When you request your first payout, your threshold for your drawdown moves to 50,000. So you got to kind of be smart with where you take your first payout because you want to leave yourself a cushion. Your initial cushion is $2,000, so I can't go below 48,000 with the Express account. That boy. Um, and so that remains the bottom, your max drawdown until you take your first payout. When you take your first payout, doesn't matter how much it is, your max drawdown moves to 50,000. Okay, so it goes from 48,000 to 50,000. So my goal is, well, I guess let me explain the rest. And then you can take up to 50% of your account, your winnings, or $5,000. So your max that you can withdraw is $5,000. So for me, my goal is going to be to build that account up to 60K so that I can take the max 5K and leave 5K in there so that I have a $5,000 drawdown, $5,000 cushion to continue trading. Okay. That's going to be my goal with that account. So I'm not going to take a payout until I reach 10K profit. So that's the goal right now. We'll see how long that takes and whatever else. But I most certainly want to have at least $5,000 in the account as a cushion. All right, and then we'll go from there. My understanding is when you hit 5 payouts is when you get shoulder tapped to move up to the live accounts. Getting a nice little reversal here. Um, this might actually be a good place to get in here. So if this liquidity here holds, oh, okay, nice pushback there. You saw that once we got down into this liquidity area here, buyers are stepping in. So let's see if this, okay, sellers are coming in too. All right, so big push here back to the downside. All right, so now what we want to see is liquidity hold on the other end for a continuation to the downside. We just don't have that much more room though. So I think for me, I want to see price come back down to this level here, because we are in a very bullish day, unless we got some news that I didn't. Is there a Truth Social? So I'd rather take longs here, but I want to do it down in this level here. You can see we have plenty of liquidity down in this general area here. So let's let price come back down. Oh, well, I mean, or not. It's, oh my goodness. Okay. I don't know what's happening there. Wow. What kind? Did we get some news or something? Hold on, let me look. Let me look. Let me look. Were we expecting numbers or? Oh no, those haven't come out yet. Okay, so we have S&P Services PMI, Manufacturing PMI, and Composite PMI, but that's at 945. Um, I don't know. I got nothing here. I got nothing. And then we're just coming right back down. Okay. Well, anyway, while we're letting this figure itself out here, I forgot what I was saying now. Oh, okay. So in the Express accounts, you can take, like I said, up to $5,000. So the first one that I'm going to take, hopefully, will be at 10K profits. I'll take the max 5,000. We'll leave 5,000 in there as a nice cushion to continue trading. And then every time we hit 60K from that point forward, I'm going to take the 5,000 out for the next five payouts, right? Or for a total of five payouts. And then at that point, I should get called up to a live account. And then that whole process starts over again, right? I don't know if they carry anything over or whatever, but let's just assume that you start fresh again with a new account. Um, you have that same process where your first five, you need 5 green days of a minimum of 200 to take your first payout, and then you can take up to 50% or 5K again. But this time in the live account, once you hit 30 days of green, 30 green days of a minimum of 200 or more, then you're able to take up to 100% of your winnings. Oh, here we go. Okay, China tariffs likely coming down to between 50% and 65%, says the Wall Street Journal here. There you go. That's what that big spike was. Okay. So this shows here that the market is still ready and willing to continue moving to the upside here. White House considers slashing China tariffs to de-escalate trade war. Sources say it's still the Wall Street Journal. Uh, Let me see if I can get a little bit of a better. Nope. Okay, so U.S. trying to de-escalate here, which looks good for the U.S. I'm telling you, this is all planned. It's all planned. All right, so there you go. That's what the news was. Um, Top headlines here: White House considering reducing China tariffs by, in some cases, more than 50%. All right. So now we got to let the market settle here because trading on news, buy the rumor, sell the news. I don't want to be in the sell the news part, right? Yeah. Uh-oh. We got a Truth Social notification here. Hold on. I joined Truth Social recently just to get the notifications when he posts. Talking about a judge. Market doesn't care about that. Neither do I. All right. So anyway, that's the plan with the funded account. I think that way I get the most out of it because if they do transfer money from the Express account to your live account, from what I've heard, and this is just speculation on my part because this is just what I've heard from other people. They don't move all of your profits over. So if you're building this account to a certain degree or whatever, when they shoulder tap you to move into a live account, which you don't have a choice, by the way, to do, because they close your Express account either way, um, they don't transfer all of your profits over. So for me, I'm going to take the max that I can take up until my fifth payout while still leaving myself a nice cushion um, in case I have, some losses in a row, right? We all have that, and regardless of how good you are or aren't, everybody falls into slumps, and I just want to make sure that I have enough of a cushion to be able to get through one of those without losing the funded account. So trying to be smart about all of this now that we're finally here. So let me know what you guys think about that. If you have any opinions or whatever, or if you have any experience with Top Step and their funded accounts and whatnot. And then hopefully I don't get caught in this mess where they're talking about adding or taking away the consistency rule in the combines and adding it to the um, express accounts, and then they go away again when you go live. So right now, as it stands, there is no consistency rule in the express account. So I can let my trades run, for as long as I want now, which is nice. And then I'll be able to practice, trailing a stop loss, right? Or aiming for a particular level, taking profits and letting some shares or some shares. Look at my old talk, letting some contracts run, if they will, right? Um, Whereas when you're in your combine, you have to take the max, which is for 50K account 1500 per day. So once you hit that in a day, you can't trade anymore in that account. Now that I'm in my Express account, there is no consistency rule yet, and so I can let these trades run. All right. S&P Services PMI, 51.4 versus 52.6 was the forecast. So a little bit lower than expected, but still above 50, so that's okay. It's still expansion. Manufacturing PMI is 50.7. We were expecting 49 there, so on the manufacturing side, looking good. Um, composite PMI 51.2. We were looking for 52. So, two of those were slightly lower than expected, but still above 50, still in the expansion side of things. And then your manufacturing PMI, you actually went from um, below 50 up above 50. So you moved into expansion. So that's good. Those are good. This is not bad, right? Hopefully these numbers remain above, although they are slowly creeping their way lower and lower. So we'll see how that goes. China's foreign minister, China supports Iran's nuclear talks with the U.S. Of course they do. All right. So that's that. It looks like we are reaching to maybe make some new highs today. Let's see how we go here. So remember, these highs were made based off of that news. We are starting to get a little bit of resistance here. But we were bullish yesterday. We're pretty bullish today. We got some good news that the market likes is coming out. So, why would there be any reason for the market to fall? There wouldn't. If anything, you're just going to get a pullback to grab some more liquidity and continue moving higher today, unless you get some kind of bad news. But it doesn't look like we're, heading in that direction. So far, good news. Hopefully, hopefully this has calmed down a little bit now, and we can look for a position here to try to get in. All right. Okay, new highs on the day again. And a big drop. It's a lot of volatility going on here. Buyers coming in pretty solid here, though. Hmm. So looking at the 15-minute chart here, I don't really like the way this looks. We still have a few minutes here for this 15-minute candle, and it could reverse quickly and head back up and look very different. But right now, we look like we're putting a top in here. So, and we could just be coming back to, grab what we were trying to grab before that news came out. That's why I like to have both charts open so I could just quickly look over and see that we were forming those very large topping wicks there. So we have another area of liquidity here where you're just starting to tap into. All right, that doesn't look bad there. Oh, that's nice. Same kind of orders here, as you can see, right? Kind of went back and forth before. We're doing the same thing now. I wouldn't mind going long here. This looks pretty good, but it's pretty big um, stop loss here. We can go in light. The buyers are really stepping up here. Oh,
Order filled.
it's a little late, but couldn't quite catch that. I wanted to get it on the close of that candle. We went in light, 5 micros there. I don't like this price action. It's a little bit too jumpy for my liking. Price can really go in either direction here. So, stop loss there just in case, but I think we have some upside. Yeah. Oh, or
Order
not.
filled.
Oh, wow. See? Craziness, but that's okay. I said I wanted to be a little bit more aggressive here. Look at that. You can't trade this. I mean, obviously, we didn't know it was going to be like that when we got in, but so now we got to wait for this to settle down here. That's just way too crazy of a movement in a single minute candle in both directions. I mean, that's nuts. And it was a late entry, too. So, I mean, on the 15-minute, we still look bullish. My problem is that crazy movement. We are just getting a flow of orders right now. So, big volume spike here. We'll wait. Let this settle down. Settle down. We still got buyers sitting here. And we have reached a point of resistance. If you look at the 4-hour chart, I mean, we were at 19,000, right? So there's your key level. Are we maintaining above or below 19,000? That's what we're basically fighting for here. So I'm sure there's a ton of orders sitting around 19,000 that have to get cleared out. If you look at the 4-hour chart here, you can see this level that we've reached. So I'm sure we've got a lot of orders here that need to be um, cleared out here. Hmm. So we're going to let this mess clear itself out first before we try getting back in here. Yeah, you can just see the orders coming in too. I mean, the tape is just I can't even read it. All right, we'll let this settle down for a few, and then we'll make back what we lost. No big deal. First trade in the second 50K account there. I feel like the first trade always goes red. It's got to discourage you. New home sales, as we were just looking at before, came in higher than expected. Nice. So, I mean, data still looks good. Let's see. Earnings season is always fun. We have IBM Q1 earnings is later today as well. Cool. That's that. We're going to let that figure itself out. So far, buyers are keeping price up here, but I'm sure there's a ton of sell orders that they have to get through. All right. So just going to show you guys what I'm looking at here between my screens. So I have the 15-minute chart up. right next to my main screen here, which is the 1 minute. And here I can switch back and forth between larger, time frames. But at least this way I get a little bit of a pushed out view so that I'm not just looking at my minute chart. And that's when, I talked about these wicks here were forming, which kept me out of getting into that trade originally. But then as we started to push back up, I thought maybe we would have some more upside there. But I also didn't realize that we were sitting at this 19,000. I got to pay attention to everything. Um, and clearly there's going to be some resistance here, but I think ultimately we might continue moving up today, so long as we don't get any bad news. But we'll let these orders fizzle out here. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. A lot of hard work, as you know, as we all know, right? But it does pay off eventually. Hopefully now, right? The goal is to keep the funded account number one. Just because we got there doesn't mean that that it's all over, right? Still a lot of work ahead, um, a lot of focus still. Um, and now, we keep the funded account, make some profits, and hopefully get to a place where I am consistent and profitable, right? Uh, that's the next goal is to become profitable. Just because we have a funded account doesn't mean that we've made it yet. It is a step in the right direction. So, thank you. How has your trading been going? It's been rough markets these days. Hmm. Well, hey, at least you passed one though, right? You still in it? Do you still have it open? Hey, again, step in the right direction, right? So, congrats on that too for you. And let us know when you get your first payout. Right. Starting to make some moves a little bit higher and higher here, but slow. All right, here we go. So it would be nice to see today if we continue higher, but we get a little bit more settled structure so that we can take trades off of. I gotcha. So you're working towards another one, right? Currently? All right, we're getting some pushback. It's the final candle in the current 15-minute that we're in. Just closed bearish, as you can see there. So sellers are kind of maintaining this price here at like 19, what is that, 66-ish. So you got three topping tails here now, or topping wicks, whatever you want to call them. So we might be topping out here. Yeah, slow and steady. And it's hard to wait. I think that's the hardest part, is waiting for those setups. So I get it. I get it, man. It's hard to wait for those perfect setups. But it pays off. Um, take your time and you know, narrow down your strategy, stick with it and wait. Are you still swing trading? Is that what you're primarily working on right now? All right, might be getting a little bit of downside here, or we're just coming down to grab some more liquidity here. So let's see again how price reacts. So you can see here we have lots of liquidity in this area. So let's see if we use this to push lower, or if we're going to continue to the high side after this. Although, with what I'm seeing here, we might have a little bit more downside. Price was reaching for this level before we got that news. So we might need to come down lower, um, but we'll see. Day trades mostly. Yeah. I enjoy the day trading. Markets have been a little rough for that recently, but it'll settle down. And I can't even imagine how much more patience you would have to wait for those setups. Swing trading, right? Days, maybe weeks sometimes. But I still would like to get into swing trading, but I think I'm going to focus on the day trading first and build up some of my own capital, to be able to swing trade my own capital instead of in a prop firm. So that's a goal for me. Um, a little ways down the road, maybe a few years down the road. But at least that way you have, you know, kind of two different streams of income, maybe, even though it's all trading, but a little different. Can also take some time off if you need from the day trading, if you have trades in long term. and you can still be making money. Yeah, I talked about that gap when we opened earlier today. Big gap. So nice. Yeah, we talked about this gap here. We could want to fill that today, and it would actually bring us down to our areas of interest that don't look like they have anything to do with today yet, but it could. We could. This jump here, I'm pretty sure was because of Tesla's earnings call, not their earnings, because their earnings weren't good. But you know, Elon talking about being more involved in Tesla again and less involved in Doge really got the investors excited during the earnings call and really pushed their stock up a decent amount. So I think, that with a couple of other of the earnings yesterday, we got this gap yesterday between yesterday and today, and so we might want to fill that today, maybe another day, but we'll see. I mean, this is a big area, right? 19,000, pretty big number, especially on the bigger charts. You got a lot of resistance here. Okay. So we could be turning. I would just here the thing is like cautionary tale because if Trump or the White House comes out with one more piece of good news today, the market's gonna skyrocket again, right? Because it's ready. That's what this is telling us here. That the market is ready. We just need, the good news or confirmations or something. So um, it'd be tough if you're gonna go short. Probably be a little bit quicker in the trade, I'd say. Longs would probably be a little bit safer, but got to take what the market gives you, right? So coming into the same liquidity zone here, let's see if the buyers have enough here to keep price up. Again, key area, right? We're just now pushing below 19,000 again. Let's see who wins the battle here. Right now, we're looking good. We can see we're creating a shelf here. We're getting some buyers in. Don't be surprised if we get some consolidation here, right around 19,000, right? If you look at our volume profile, we got plenty of volume here to support. No rush to get into a position. Still jumpy. So we can definitely call, unless we just get a complete retracement here now, this area a strong zone of liquidity here. We've tapped into this now 3 times, and buyers have stepped up. But you also have obviously sellers up above here. So so I'd still like to see um, new highs and then hopefully some decent structure, not this mumbo jumbo. And then we can look to continue maybe. But we know we have sellers here, and you can see that by these sell-offs, right? You know you have buyers here. So really, you kind of want to wait for a break of one of these to figure out who has taken over. Markets have been enthusiastic the past 2 days. VIX is falling pretty strong. More normal volatility is what this article says. Yeah, for sure. Uh huh. This definitely looks more normal. All right, let's see what happens here. Can we push to make new highs? Or do the sellers come back in? So on the 15-minute, really strong move here by the buyers. So long as this holds, you can definitely see the liquidity here on the 15-minute chart, which makes sense, right? So let's see. Let the battle begin. All right. So last candle here. Let's get a nice push up. All right, so strong close on the 15, right? That's really nice. Tapped into liquidity and buyers pushed really, really nicely back up. So now we just wait to see if we'll make new highs. And then maybe we'll look for a position. We'll see. See if we push higher, we got a little bit of ways to go. And then actually we'd be approaching the 200-day moving average on the 4-hour. Yeah, pretty strong resistance here, even on the day chart too. We're not far from the 200-day moving average on the 4-hour. So it might be a nice little target if we do continue higher here. It's not far. Hmm. Very bullish looking still. Haven't quite reached highs yet. And here we go. We're reaching. Okay, we peaked above. Let's see if we still have enough to keep going. It's a really nice move here by the buyers. out of our liquidity zone here. Quite the swings these days. We have moved 530 points so far today, 2.86%. Yesterday's move was, we'll just go from open to close, 454 points, 2.5%. There's your push. Will it close? Nice strong close, making new highs on the day. Really, really nice push out of this liquidity zone here. This would have been a nice trade. Buyers are enthusiastic. So we've tested our 19,000 couple times today now. 1, 2, 3 times if you're counting the wicks on the 15-minute. And we have pushed higher. So we may be maintaining our 19,000 level. And you can see that that's right where this liquidity was sitting too, just below 19,000. So I think long positions are still pretty safe. Let's see if we can get a nice little pullback here, and then we'll try to hop in again. Retesting previous highs here. You can see buyers stepping in again. I like to see a little bit more of a pullback. We don't really have much left if you're just aiming towards previous highs. Okay, that's a little bit better. Now we have some room. Nice, easy, slow pullback, so it's a good sign, unless we just fall out here. Nice, nice. That's good. Coming into previous structure here. I would have liked to have seen one more wick here just to confirm buyers here. So I'm just making, uh, so I would have liked to have seen one more push down here and then a push back. That would have been a nice, little bit more confirmation. Clearly, we have buyers here. I just want to make sure that we have enough, although we are looking uh, pretty bullish still. So this could have been an entry here, but it's not. It's not the A plus setup that I like to look for. I like to see a few attempts because when you have a few of these attempts and these wicks here, then you can confirm that there is liquidity here to push in the same direction. So we got one. So not exactly what I look for. Even back here, you can see the multiple attempts. Yes, it wasn't quite enough. So let's see if we try again. I mean, I'd be okay if price came down here too. You can see the volume. So in this area, we'd have some liquidity too. It might be enough to continue a push to the upside here, but we'll see. All right, the seller's definitely starting to come in here now. There we go. All right, let's see if we come back down here. Yeah, let's let price come down here. I'd be more comfortable with that. Although we are hitting this node here and getting a bounce. This would be a nicer trade anyway. Have much more room to aim for the highs. And our control will probably move to here once we hit this level. So the game of waiting continues. I like that we're getting this nice slow pullback here from the top. It's giving us some nice structure here. So that's a good sign. Yeah, come on. Oh, got a little shelf starting there. So look at the similarity, right? The wicks aren't too far down, but buyers are holding price right here. Nice pushback by the sellers there. All right. We're going to push through. There we go. Okay, cool. So still looking for price to come down here now. Maybe not. Ah, look where our control moved to. Right where price is being held. Look at that. So a lot of volume came in right here. All right, we're still creeping lower. Okay. I was gonna say, is that about to hold? All right, so now we're coming into that area that I was targeting before. That might be what it needed there. All right, so we know we have sellers here. Here's where I thought control was going to move to before. So let's see if the buyers down here hold. This would be a nice place if we start to show signs of price holding here to get in. We got a nice, um, we have plenty of room here to move back to highs, but we got to see those signs. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if price came back down here. Oh, or we're just going to flush out. Oh, boy. These crazy moves. And now we take the hand off the mouse and we wait. Crazy. Right at 11 o'clock, too. That's weird. This has happened a few times now in the past couple of weeks that right at 11 or 12 o'clock, we get these wicked um, candle movements for some reason. It's almost as if like these orders are timed for this time period for some reason, and they just come in at 11 or 12 o'clock, and it just goes wild. You can see buyers stepping in right here. I just don't trust these movements. That was a really nice, slow, structured pullback into this craziness, which just kind of throws all plans out the window. So what I see here on the profile is this D shape starting to form, which is a signal of sorts of range trading, sideways trading. So buyers and sellers may be happy where price is right here for right now. It's still an overall upward trend, but we definitely are starting to form a D here. Ugh. Hmm. Sellers stepping in a little stronger there. So we might have some more downside. So you got sellers here. You get more volume on the push down than you did climbing here. So we might have a little bit more selling pressure. Yeah. Volumes building up here. So price is holding here, but it's very, very, very little volume. So coming back into this liquidity here, I'm just watching very closely. Okay. So I'm just waiting for any signs of support, basically, anywhere here. Even if we come into this zone here, which would be a little bit more ideal, as long as we maintain. If we break this liquidity zone here, we might have further to fall. So let's see. Let's see what we get here. What's that? So we want to watch very closely here. See that quick bounce right off of there? Ooh, look at those buyers come in.
Order filled.
We're going to try here. Put our stop below there. Risky trade. We can still come further in here, but you can definitely see the buyers come in every time we tapped into this zone here. And we've seen it before. So I don't want to miss the opportunity here. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But this is based off of liquidity here. So we'll see. The sellers may have taken control. We don't really know yet, but very, very strong uptrend today. Nice slow pullback, which kind of indicates that we're not getting this quick reversal. Um, but we'll see. We'll see if this plays out.
Order filled.
And then we get that. Look at this. Oh my goodness. The craziness. So we came right down to where we were aiming for almost before we got the news. The insanity. You can't even be mad today by because we're just getting taken out by stupid candles. This is not normal, you know, and you can't predict that. You take a trade based off of, previous liquidity. Um, and I was okay with taking this trade. You cannot predict this. This stuff here, this craziness. And now we're going to swing right back to the upside. Maybe not. We'll see. Yeah, we came right down to this area, which is exactly what I was talking about when we were getting this pushed down. I figured we were aiming for these lows here, and then we got the news and messed everything up. And then hours later, we came right down in there. And now we're getting held here. Hmm. We might have rolled. We might be going for a little ride. A lot of selling pressure just came in there. Any news with that? Oh, no unilateral offer from Trump to cut China tariffs. We literally just got the opposite. Oh my goodness. Come on. Mm.
Order filled.
Try one more time at the bottom here. These crazy news swings. Mm-mm.
Order filled.
All right, we're done for the day. That's that. So much for bullish day. I think we just turned. Secretary Besant, whatever his name is, there coming out with all kinds of stuff here. One of them saying the Wall Street Journal story about lowering tariffs in China wasn't confirmed, and this, that, and the other thing. This back and forth stuff is a killer in the markets. It is a killer. Goodness. Well, seeing how we got our butts handed to us today because of news, I think that's going to be it for today. Try again tomorrow. Crazy, 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 crazy. These markets are so wound tight that anything, I mean, and how do you you can't safeguard against that, you know? Nope. Oh well. Well, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll try to get this account back up in the green and we'll go from there. Hopefully some of this stuff today will settle down and whatever else and we'll go from there. So thank you for watching. Appreciate all of you. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And our free Discord link for that is in the description down below. We'll see you guys in the live tomorrow. Have a good day.